We're following a number of stories, including the government shutdown, which has now reached 34 days. 42 million Americans lost critical food assistance benefits on Saturday as a judge ruled that the U.S. Department of Agriculture must tap an emergency reserve to pay for those SNAP benefits. The Trump administration now has until noon today to share how it plans to do just that. This all comes as millions of Americans will head to the polls tomorrow for Election Day. That includes here in New York City, where more than 700,000 people have already voted. A new poll here in town shows that Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani leads his closest challenger, Andrew Cuomo, by about 6 points. Meanwhile, President Trump sat down for a wide-ranging interview with 60 Minutes, where he claimed he doesn't know who the billionaire founder of Binance is, despite pardoning him just a few days ago. The crypto tycoon, who has admitted to money laundering, was granted clemency late last month. He's the same man who significantly boosted the Trump family's digital currency.
He pled guilty in 2023 to violating anti-money laundering laws. Right. The government at the time said that CZ had caused significant harm to U.S. national security, essentially by allowing terrorist groups like Hamas to move millions of dollars around. Why did you pardon him?
Okay, are you ready? I don't know who he is. I know he got a 4-month sentence or something like that, and I heard it was a Biden witch hunt.
In 2025, his crypto exchange Binance helped facilitate a $2 billion purchase of World Liberty Financial's stablecoin. And then you pardoned CZ. How do you address the appearance of pay for play?
Well, here's the thing. I know nothing about it because I'm too busy doing the other.
But
I can only tell you that.
But he got a
No,
pardon.
I can only tell you this. My sons are into it. I'm glad they are because it's probably a great industry, crypto. I think it's good. You know, they're running a business. They're not in government.
Because you were
World Liberty Financial has denied any involvement in the pardon.
So, John Lemire, help us out here. So, if I understand that correctly from Nora's questioning of the president, the family got a $2 billion investment from this guy. Is that correct with their cryptocurrency? And this guy undermined American national security by helping terrorist groups like Hamas move terrorist money around? Is that what the president's saying? Like he had no idea that he was pardoning a guy that was helping Hamas, like move terrorist money around and make his family. And tell me if I'm wrong, but Nora said $2 billion.
Everything you said is right. And let's remember, this guy admitted to it. He confessed to this money laundering scheme. And yet President Trump claims that he doesn't know who he is. Now, whether that's true, it's disturbing either way. Whether that's true and simply he's just...
How can he not know? I'm sorry. Who's doing these pardons? How does he not know that? That's like him saying that he didn't know that he pardoned January 6th, like convicts, one of whom said he was going to kill Hakeem Jeffries a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the auto pen strikes again, I guess. No, it's either he doesn't know, which is preposterous, or of course he does know, and he simply thinks that denying it on national television is a better look for him, trying to create some distance from a pardon that's obviously controversial. But you're right. I mean, those January 6th pardons came within his first hours in office, and he's made it very clear he's using the Department of Justice even though, again, he denied it last night, even though we've all seen the Truth Social post. He's using the Department of Justice to punish his foes, and he's using his pardon of the power to reward those he thinks are his friends.
Okay. Well, in some of the ways, we're not surprised. I think what we're surprised about is the Republicans who stand by while all this happens. With us, we have...
Well, these are the people that were melting down and freaking out for years over Hunter Biden NFTs and Hunter Biden paintings selling for how much? 50,000, 75,000. I don't know how much they were selling for. It wasn't $2 billion. I mean, the cryptocurrency alone is just absolutely crazy. And you know, sends people all over the earth to investigate, like Hunter Biden and a $3 million deal, the amount of which we don't know how much Hunter Biden got. But again, here we have the same people that melted down for years over that. Cool about Qatari jets, $2 billion in cryptocurrency here, Trump meme coins. You just go down the list of things. And the things that they freaked out and melted down and investigated before are 1/1000th, if that, of what they were melting down about Hunter Biden NFTs. It's like South Park wouldn't even touch this because it would be such a stupid parody of what actually the Republican Party has become, what these MAGA followers have become, and what they will do. They'll justify absolutely anything. And the comparison, I had one reporter in the MAGA bubble for years hectoring me, going, what was Hunter Biden doing on Air Force Two?
Oh my God!
What was Hunter Biden doing on Air Force Two? Like, why was he on Air Force Two for years? 4 years. I call him up and I go, all right, so that's fine. So tell me about the Trump meme coin. How much billion? How much money did Donald Trump make? Oh, that's the most corrupt thing I've ever heard in my life, he says to me one day, and then never brings it up again. But if you talk to him, he would still be talking about that Hunter Biden flew on Air Force Two with Joe Biden when Joe Biden was president. And there's absolutely no awareness whatsoever. There's this false equivalency, false flattening of the earth. And really, they look like total fools. So at some point, they'll figure it out. But that point is not now, Jonathan.
No, it is not. Chairman Comer, who, of course, spent months, years investigating Hunter Biden with nothing to show for it, he's claimed, what the Trump kids are doing is different because they're, quote, transparent about it. They're just saying we're taking the billions of dollars,
it's different.
as opposed to doing so with the far fractionally smaller money that Hunter Biden was bringing in. These things are not comparable. They're not comparable.
Yeah. They are as transparent as a dancer in a Lord Champagne glass at a Gatsby party. That's how transparent they are.
Yeah.
A party never killed anybody, Joe. With us, we have opinion writer at the New York Times, Mara Gay, and MSNBC national affairs analyst, and yes, a very happy, if probably pretty tired Dodgers fan, John Heilman. John, congrats to you again. What a classic that World Series was. So let's start, though, about this. This is an extraordinary moment here where we have a president of the United States, John Heilman, talking about the presidential pardon power, which he has used a lot already in his term. Usually we see it just at the very end of a presidential term. Here he is. He's not even a year in, and he's using it with seemingly reckless abandon because he claims last night to not even know the identity of the person he pardoned. I can just imagine. I mean, I know this gets tiresome, but could you imagine if President Joe Biden sat down for a national televised interview and was asked about a pardon, and President Biden said, I don't know that guy? Could you imagine what the next few days would be like in the conservative media?
Oddly, Jonathan, because I have an active imagination, I can't imagine exactly what it would be like, and it will be it'd be 180 degrees out from what we're going to see from the people who are in charge of oversight on Capitol Hill, the Republicans you mentioned, Chairman Comer a minute ago. You stole my line earlier, by the way, which is, I mean, really, one of two things is true. Either Trump is stunningly ignorant about this, which is not what I believe, or it is a sign of as grotesque a particular kind of demonstration of the kleptocratic tendencies of this White House. And I do think that's an important point, which is, autocracy and kleptocracy often go hand in hand, almost always. And we focus rightly on the examples of autocratic and quasi-autocratic behavior on the part of this administration. But we often kind of don't pay as much attention to the kleptocratic parts. And I think one of the great stories will be when the smoke clears, whenever that is, on this administration is going to be people are going to go back and exhume a lot of these deals, some of which we know a little bit about, some of which we know a fair amount about, some of which we don't know anything about, and find out just how much the Trump family plundered the White House, used the presidency to enrich themselves, particularly in this second term, although there was a fair amount of that in the first term. And the last thing I'll say, if you watch that interview, is there, and I'll ask Joe this question, is there a better, more vivid case for reforming the pardon power than what we just saw there with Donald Trump? Even the pardon of the January 6th protesters, which was morally one of the most craven things I've ever seen a president do, and horrible.
Right.
This, watching him on camera claim that he doesn't know who this person was, and given what Nora and what we just talked about, what she laid out there, it is, again, either way, it's equally damning, and I can't think of a better illustration of why there needs to be some kind of restraints on the pardon power than the way Donald Trump is using it here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, on January 6th, I don't know about morally craven. I think politically dangerous, because Maura, it sends a signal, like so many of the pardons that Donald Trump has done. Be on my side, even commit violence for me,
crimes,
even beat up cops for me. Even when you are thrown into jail and you're weeping in front of a judge and you say you're sorry, do that, and I will pardon you. And of course, who was shocked that reportedly one of those people was the one who said he was going to come to Washington and do harm to Hakeem Jeffries. So that's on that front. But secondly, I must say, just a bigger issue, and I thought this after the first Trump term and said it in 21. We've got to figure out some way to reform not just the pardon power, but what our attorney general does, who appoints our. I don't know if we make it a 2/3 vote. I'm not sure what we can do because of the separation of powers. But we cannot keep going forward like this, where justice, we get as much justice as an individual president decides we want to get. And as I've been warning along, forgive me for going on, this isn't just about Republicans and Democrats. Things are always changing. I worry about the tech bro, the independent that's neither Republican nor Democrat, who decides to go after everybody and appoints a tech bro lawyer as his or her attorney general to go after all enemies, Donald Trump and these Republicans and people who were once conservative and claim to be conservative still. They're laying a precedent that they will all regret not far from now when one of these tech bros become the independent president of the United States.
Well, Joe, the thing is, there's going to be so many questions about the use of presidential power after Donald Trump's presidency, and I do believe that there will be a time after Donald Trump. His presidency has laid bare the blessings and the challenges of one of the world's oldest democracies. And in some ways, the founding fathers, they set up this brilliant system. But when you compare our institutions to that of Western Europe, which really was remade after World War II, you can also see that our system is really being strongly tested against this radical minority that Donald Trump has used to hold on to power. And so there's going to be a lot of questions that go far beyond partisanship.